Hi guys, I have a reformer class for you today using no props. So no props needed. We are gonna get started on our arm and abdominal spring. So you guys can go on to a red and a yellow spring. So one heavy, one light spring on your reformer. I'm gonna do a little heavier today and do a heavy and a medium. If you guys wanna bump it up, feel free to bump it up with me. We're gonna go ahead, lie ourselves down onto our reformers. Headrest can be up or down. And then as always, before we get started, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You guys can leave me those super thanks. And then as always, every Monday, Wednesday, you guys will get that free content. Every Friday will be for members only now. And that's just $4.99 a month. I so appreciate all the support. Okay, so we're gonna get down onto our reformers. Again, I'm on a little bit of a heavier spring today. You guys can go a little heavier if you would like. And then we're gonna reach behind us to start and grab our short loops into our hands. Now, once we grab a hold of our short loops, arms are gonna go straight up to the ceiling. Hands should be right over our shoulders. We're in our neutral spine, so I have that nice natural curvature of my low back. And then knees are gonna come up into a tabletop position. Legs are gonna be zipped together. On an exhale, we're gonna just press our arms down to the mat for a reach and pull. We're gonna inhale to return back up with control. Exhale to pull down. And then inhale, return, thinking as we pull down, we are engaging our low abs. Now, if you guys chose to go a little heavier for a spring and it's too heavy, you can always switch to your long loops instead of your short loops. We're gonna go ahead and just do one more like that. Exhale to press, inhale, return. Now we're gonna add in a curl. So on our exhale, we're gonna press our arms down, nod our chin towards our chest, come right up into an abdominal curl, and then inhale, return back down with control. Exhaling as we nod and curl up, and then again, inhaling as we return back down with control. Curl comes right from our bra lines, and then we wanna think we are maintaining our neutral spines the entire time. Exhale, nod, curl from that bra line. Inhale, return. I want to think when I bring my chin to my chest, I'm keeping a little space so like I can fit a lemon or a kiwi in between my chin and my chest without squishing it. Let's go for 2 more. And then last one. All right, when we come down, we can pause, relax the feet. Feel free to give ourselves a little stretch, and then we're gonna add in with those. So let's go arms back up to the ceiling, knees up into our tabletop position again, legs are zipped together, one curl. So let's exhale, press, curl up. We're gonna pause at the top. We're gonna inhale, dip our right toes down to the springs, exhaling as we lift, left toes dip, and then exhale, lift. And I just wanna think I'm keeping that nice 90-degree angle bend in my knee, hinging at the hips to dip down, and then exhaling as I lift back up. If the neck is an issue, heads can go back down into the headrest. Again, hinge to dip, and then engaging obliques to bring each leg back up. We're gonna go for 4, 3, arms stay nice and long at your sides, 2, and then last one, when we come up, arms up, heads down, we can relax our feet, and then we can just give ourselves a little stretch. We can sway our knees, hug them, stretch them. We're gonna do a couple more things with our abs to warm up. So again, arms are back up to the ceiling, knees are gonna go up into our tabletop position. Again, legs are zipped together, one curl. So let's exhale, press, curl up. We're gonna pause at the top. Inhale, reach the right leg out to a challenging level. And then on our exhale, we're gonna pull the right leg back in, left leg extends out, and then exhale to pull back in. Again, we're staying in our curls. Think reach through your fingers. Nice long wrist. So no bending at the wrist when you're here. Reach through those fingertips. Inhale out. Exhale to pull back in. Neutral spine the entire time. I'm staying right up into that curl, and I'm engaging my obliques to pull each leg back in. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. When we come in, arms up, heads down, you can relax the feet again, and then we can just give ourselves a little stretch. Now, we're gonna move into some straight leg work. If hamstrings or low back are tight, you guys can always have a slight bend to the knees. Arms are up to the ceiling, knees are up into our tabletop position. We're gonna exhale, press, curl ourselves up into those abdominal curls. Both legs are gonna go up just as high as we can hold our neutral spine. Then let's inhale, lower the right leg straight down. Exhale, use the right obliques to lift, left leg lowers, and then exhale again as we lift each leg back up. Again, if the necks are an issue, heads go back down into the headrest. Think reach the arms, nice long wrists. Inhale, lower, engaging the obliques to pull each leg back up. We'll do one more right, one more left, and then we can bend the knees, arms up, head down. We'll relax the feet, and we can just give ourselves a little stretch. Now, from here, we're gonna hang up just our left strap, and then the long loop is gonna go into the arch of the right foot. And then when we get it there, again, I'm on a little bit of a heavier spring. If you guys need to change to a lighter spring, you can always change to a lighter spring if you went heavy with me. Leg is up just as high as I can hold my neutral spine. My left knee is gonna come up into a tabletop position. I'm gonna push into my right leg just a little more. And I'm gonna think my right leg stays still, my carriage stays still, and then my pelvis stays still. We're gonna inhale, dip the left toes down towards the springs. Exhale, lift the knee back up. Inhale, hinge dip. And then exhaling as we lift. So stabilizing from that right side, hinging at the hips to dip down, exhale, lift, just like what we did with our straps in our hands. We want to think we're firing up our left obliques to bring the knees back up into that tabletop position. Inhale, dip, exhale, lift. Let's go for 2 more. And then last one. Now when we come up, we're gonna pause, right leg stay still. Inhale, reach the left leg out towards the foot bar. Exhale to pull back in. Inhale out, exhale back. So same 3 movements that you guys just did with the straps in your hands. Right leg stays nice and long. Again, it does not move. The pelvis doesn't move. The carriage doesn't move. We inhale to extend the left leg out. We exhale to pull back in. Again, I'm going to think engaging my left obliques to pull back in. I'm going to feel my quad hip flexor automatically work. Think fire up those obliques. Let's do 3, 2, and then on this last one, hold the left leg out. On an exhale, we're gonna lift the left leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. Again, right leg should be working to stabilize us. Think quad, hamstring, quad, hip flexor, obliques, not your hamstring, quad, hip flexor, obliques working to lift that left leg up. Inhale down, exhale lift. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. All right, then we can relax our left foot down. Give your right leg a nice little stretch. Left foot can be on the floor of the wooden platform or the foot bar. Give your left leg a stretch. And then we're gonna do a couple more things here. So right leg is gonna go back up just as high as we can hold our neutral spines. Left knee up into our tabletop position. We're gonna exhale, pull the right leg down towards our springs, and then we're gonna inhale, hinge to come back up. Exhale to pull the right leg straight down, and then inhaling as we hinge and we come back up. I'm feeling the back of the leg into my glute firing as I pull down on my exhale. And then again, inhale, hinge, come back up. Exhale to pull down. Inhale, hinge. Again, think sacrum, pelvis are staying nice and still. Exhale to lower. Inhale back up. Let's go for 3, 2, and then last one. Now, our leg is gonna lift just to a little lower than a 45-degree angle. We're gonna bend our right knee in for a single leg squat. Exhale, press the right leg out. Inhale back, exhale to press. Inhale back again. That left knee is just gonna stay up into our tabletop position the entire time. Again, I'm gonna watch that my pelvis does not shift as I bend and extend my right leg. Let's do 3, 2, and then on this last one, we're gonna hold our right leg out away from us. Feel free to grab onto your shoulder blocks for a little extra stability. We're moving into leg circles. We're gonna lower the right leg a little further down, open it slightly out to the side of the room to circle around and back up. We wanna, again, lower straight down, open slightly out to the side to circle around and back up. Left hip, you guys, is gonna stay heavy into the carriage. That movement comes right from the head of the femur in that hip socket. So imagine if you're lying down in some clay, everything stays nice and heavy in the clay. Movement comes from that right hip. Down, circle around and back up. We're gonna go for one more. Then when we come up, pause, reverse, a little more challenging. We open it out, we press it down and around, we hinge to come back up. I'm really feeling my adductors, inner thighs, helping to pull my leg back center. Again, think half moon, capital D shape with that leg. If that's too much, you guys can always pause and give yourselves a break. We're gonna go for two more. And then last one. All right, then once I come up, pause, relax the left foot down, give your right leg a stretch, give your left leg a stretch. Again, the left leg can be on the floor, wooden platform, foot bar, right leg can be straight up to the ceiling, out to the side, across the body, whatever feels best. And then we're gonna take the straps off of our feet, hang it back up onto the peg, and then we'll do the same thing on the left leg. So long loop on, left leg up. Again, just about as high as we can hold our neutral spines. I'm gonna bring mine just a tiny bit lower, and then I'm gonna bring my right knee up into a tabletop position. Think, left leg stays still, pelvis stays still, carriage stays still. We're gonna inhale, dip the right toes down towards our springs. Exhale, lift, inhale, hinge to dip, and then exhaling as we lift back up with control. So we're hinging to dip and then engaging our right obliques to bring that leg back up. Again, left leg still, pelvis still, carriage still. That left leg is gonna work to stabilize us here. Inhale, lower, exhale to lift back up. Dip and lift. Again, think if you guys are lying down in some clay, everything just stays nice and heavy in that clay. Hinging from the hip, and then engaging our obliques. We're gonna feel quad hip flexors working as well. We're gonna go for two more. And then on this last one, we're gonna pause at the top. Inhale, reach that right leg out away from us towards our foot bar. Exhale to pull back in. Inhale out. I'm just bringing my knee back to that 90-degree angle. It doesn't need to go any closer to my body. So think right back to a 90. Extend, exhale, pull. Inhale, extend. Again, left leg working to hold this carriage here. We should feel right quads, hip flexors, obliques. Three more. Two. And one. Now the leg is out, we pause with it out. We're gonna exhale, lift it straight up towards the ceiling. We're gonna inhale, lower back down with control. Exhale to lift, inhale, lower. Again, I'm really gonna feel that right quad hip flexor work. I wanna think I'm firing up my obliques to lift the leg up as well. And then just making sure when we lift the leg, we are not collapsing into our low backs. 3, 2, and then last one. All right, relax that right foot down, floor, wooden platform, foot bar. Give that left leg a little break, a little stretch. And then we just have a couple more things on that left side. So let's go left leg up again, just as high as we can hold our neutral spines. Right knee's gonna go back up into that tabletop position. You should feel that quad firing. We're gonna exhale, pull the left leg straight down, and then hinge, come back up. Now, if you guys can watch your leg, see that it's going straight down, and then it is coming back up. My leg is right in line with my left sits bones. It's not being pulled out to the side, to the left side, and then it's not pulling across the body. So again, left leg right in line with that left sits bones. Exhale to pull, inhale, hinge. I'm looking to see that it's going straight down, and then it's following that line straight up. Back of the leg into the glute firing as we pull, and then hinge. We're gonna do 2. Then on our last one, we pause. The leg can go up to a little lower than a 45. Bend your left knee in for single leg squats. Let's exhale to press out. Inhale back, exhale away. Inhale back, engaging that glute as we press. exhale to push. Inhale back, I'm squeezing my glute, right where my butt connects to my leg. I want that glute max to fire. Inhale, exhale to push. Let's go for 5. Again, straight out with the legs straight in. 2. Now on this last one, hold. Again, I'm gonna hang on to my shoulder blocks for a little extra stability. We're gonna lower the leg a little further down, open it slightly out to the side to circle around and back up. We exhale to lower, we inhale to circle around and back up. Going down, again, circling around and back up. That right hip, you guys, is gonna stay heavy into the mat. If you can feel it lift up, you need to shorten that range of motion so it doesn't go out as wide. We're gonna do one more in that direction. And then when we come up, we're gonna pause, reverse, we open it out, press down around, hinge to come back up. Again, we're gonna feel a little more work with our circles in this direction. Everyone's range of motion is going to be a little different too. So you guys might be a little bigger than mine. You might be a little smaller than mine. Just work to whatever range of motion works best for your pelvis. We're gonna do one more. And then when we come up, pause, relax the right foot down wherever it feels comfortable, and then just stretch your leg. Again, whatever feels comfortable for your left leg. You guys can go straight up. You can open it out to the side. You can go across the body. You can do a little figure 4 stretch. Again, up to you. Stretch both legs. Okay, then we're gonna take that strap off of our foot and we're gonna hang it back up. Now, once we hang that strap up, we're gonna sit off to the sides. We are gonna go to one light spring on our reformer. And then when you guys get onto that one light spring, again, that's one yellow on my balanced body, everything comes off. We're gonna do some work on the wrist. So if you guys do have a pad to put down, feel free to put down a pad. If you have one of those stickies, you can put down a sticky. If you don't have anything, that's fine. But if you do have sensitive wrists and you have something to put down, I would suggest putting them down for the wrists. We're gonna come kneeling on your reformers. Hands are gonna be right onto the platform. And then we're gonna take your feet out onto the shoulder blocks. Now, light spring, just be very careful. Shoulders over the hands, hips are right over our knees. We are in a neutral spine. So I don't want you guys to be doing any of this. No arcing, collapsing into your low back. And then none of this where you're tucking. Think a nice neutral spine. We're gonna start with the knees. I'm gonna push my carriage out with my knees, pause, abs into my back. We're not collapsing into the low backs. We're gonna push our carriage out with our arms, kneeling planks, pull the carriage in with our arms, and then pull back in with our knees. So we're gonna push the carriage out with our knees, push out with our arms, pull in with the arms, pull in with the knees. And if you want a breath, I'm gonna inhale to push the knees out. I'm gonna keep that inhale as I push my arms out. I'm gonna exhale to pull my arms in, and then I'm gonna keep that exhale as I pull my knees back in. So we can inhale to push out with the knees and arms, and we can exhale to pull in with the arms and knees. So again, it's knees and arms and arms and knees. Now, if you guys would like to challenge yourselves even more, you can take off that yellow spring and you can try to do it with no spring. So we're gonna push out with the knees again, arms, pull in with the arms and knees. My abs are into my back the entire time. So I'm never collapsing into my low back or feeling this in my low back. Knees and arms, arms and knees. Let's do one more. Again, one yellow or no springs. It's up to you guys. And then when we come back in, if you took your spring off, add on that yellow again. Okay, feel free to get off of your wrists, give them a little bit of a roll, and then we're gonna go a little further forward. So knees are gonna go an inch, maybe 2 inches away from the edge of your carriage. Hands are gonna go into your foot bar. Thumbs should be with your fingers. Hands are gonna be about shoulder distance away from each other, so not super wide, just about shoulder distance out. Shift forward, our shoulders over our hands. I'm gonna press the carriage out with my knees. They're going to stay. We're gonna do 6 to 8 narrow push-ups. When you bend your elbows, they should go into your ribs. Press, narrow, press. Again, give me 6 to 8 narrow push-ups. Carriage should be staying pretty still. I have 2 more. I'm doing 8. And then when you guys finish your 6 to 8, bring the carriage back in. Again, if you need to roll out your wrists, give them a little counter stretch, you can go ahead and do so. The knees are gonna stay. Hands go back onto your foot bar, a little wider this time. Thumbs are still with your fingers, shoulders are still over your hands. Knees push the carriage back out. Again, abs into your back. We're gonna do 6 to 8 wide push-ups. Bend wide, exhale, press, wide, exhaling as we press. Again, 6 to 8, up to you guys. Range of motion up to you. They can be big, they can be small. Again, I'm doing 8. That's my last one. When you guys finish those, you can come all the way back in. Okay, again, get off your wrists. Feel free to give them a little roll, a little counter stretch. We're gonna stay on this one yellow spring, and then we're gonna kneel on your reformers and face the right side of the room. So rotate to the right. Okay. When we set up here, my knees are gonna be, my left knee specifically, will be about 4 or 6 inches away from the edge of my carriage. And then I'm lined up right about center on my reformer. And when I say center, I mean right where your spine is usually at. This is like right where your butt is usually at. You guys have the option to take off this spring if you would like to take it off, just to make it a little more challenging. Left hand goes onto the wooden platform. I'm gonna take my right hand to my hip, and then I'm gonna press the carriage out with my knees, and they're gonna be stacked on top of each other. Hips are stacked as well, shoulders are stacked. From here, I'm gonna inhale, dip my left hip down towards my carriage, and then on my exhale, I'm gonna lift the hip to pull the carriage in. So it's gonna be an inhale to dip, and exhale to lift. We have 6 to 8 of these. Again, if you want it more challenging, take off the spring and try to do this with no springs. We want to use our left obliques. Inhale down, exhale up. Let's go for 2. Lift. The carriage should go out and in. Last one, dip, lift, and then pause in. Feel free to get off that left wrist. Give it a roll. Again, 1 yellow spring, you guys, or no springs. I'm gonna stay on no springs personally. You guys can always add and take off. Left hand is gonna go back onto the wooden platform, knees stay. Right hand to your hip. Push your carriage back out, pause. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. We're gonna dip the left hip down. When we lift our hips up, we're gonna extend our right leg out. Dip the hips, stack the legs, lift the hip and extend. Inhale down, exhale up. Again, about 6 to 8. Now notice, when I push out, my left knee pushes the carriage out. When I pull back in, my knee is trying to pull back underneath my hip. That's gonna work those obliques a little more. Last one, I think that might be over 8. All the way back up, pause, relax down. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So rotate around. If you guys have no springs, just be very careful. We're gonna set up, again, about center, right where your butt would usually be, or right where your low back would usually be. And then again, I'm gonna go about 4 to 6 inches away from the edge of my carriage. Right hand is on the platform. We're gonna push the carriage out. Knees stacked, hips stacked, shoulders are stacked. Left hand, you guys, wherever hip, behind your head, up to the ceiling. We're gonna inhale, dip that right hip down. Exhale, lift, dip, and lift. I'm keeping my right shoulder over my hand the whole time, so I'm not pushing out with my arm. I'm just dipping the right hip down to the springs, using my oblique to lift back up, or obliques to lift. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way back in. Feel free to give that wrist a little bit of a roll, a little counter stretch. Last thing that we're gonna do is that little leg extension again. No springs, yellow spring. Up to you guys. Setting up. Knees stacked, hips stacked, shoulders are stacked. Push the carriage out, pause. Dip that right hip back down. When we lift it up, extend the left leg, pull the carriage in with that right knee a little more. Stack the legs as we dip. Lift and extend. Inhale down, exhale, lift and extend. Again, left arm can go wherever. It's just not pulling you back in. Again, I'm keeping my right shoulder over my hand the entire time. Dip down, stack the legs, lift and extend the left leg. Let's do 3. I'm doing much over 8. 2 and 1. Okay, bring your carriage all the way back in. If you took off the yellow spring, go ahead and put it back on. Okay, we're gonna kneel on our reformers, face the backside of your reformer, give your wrists a little bit of a roll. Last thing on the wrists. We're gonna set up knees up against the shoulder blocks, hands are on the frame of the carriage. We're gonna walk out to, I'd say, about a foot or so away from the edge of your reformer. So my shoulders are not over my hands. I'm gonna curl my toes underneath me, lift my knees and stretch my legs. So right into a plank. Adjust your toes and hands as needed, you guys. On an exhale, you're gonna tuck your pelvis, bend your knees, pull the carriage in, inhale out. Exhale, tuck, pull, inhale out. Now, if you guys want this easier, do no springs. Yellow makes it a little more challenging. Exhale, bend the knees, tuck the pelvis, pull, inhale out. We're gonna go for 4, 2, and 1. All right, come down. Feel free to stretch. Again, wrists. And then we're gonna do one more thing, and then it'll be pikes. So hands are gonna go back onto the frame. Same thing. I'm gonna walk them out. Again, I'm gonna go, it's like a 1.5 feet maybe away from the edge of the reformer. Toes curled, lift the knees, stretch the legs, hold your planks, legs stay long. We're piking. We tuck the pelvis, hike the hips, inhale back out into a plank, exhale, tuck, pike, inhale out. Think draw our abs in to our backs. Tuck, pike, extend, give me 3, 2, and 1. All right, carefully come down, stretch back, and we're gonna go into some legs. So step off to the sides, roll out those wrists. Foot bars are gonna go up to the starting position. And then for me personally, I'm just gonna do 3 red springs on my reformer. That's 3 heavy springs. You guys can go lighter, you can go heavier. We're gonna do footwork to finish. We're gonna do bilateral, so both legs pushing out, and then unilateral, so single legs. Lie down. You guys can always change your springs as needed, but just a heads up, it is a lot of pushing, some pulses, so lots of quads. Again, I'm on 3 reds. You guys can go heavier or lighter. Heels are gonna start on the foot bar, parallel with each other. Sits bone distance away, so just about that fist distance away from each other. Neutral spines, headrest can be up or down. We're gonna push our carriages out, and then we'll bend to come back in. Let's exhale out today, and inhale back. Exhale to push, inhale back in. So just thinking everything is engaged as we go out, and then just kind of resisting the springs to come back in. It is gonna get a lot more challenging, just a heads up. Again, you guys can always add on or take off springs. We're gonna go for 2 more. And then on this last one, we're gonna bend, come halfway in, pause, little pulses of our carriage for 8, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way out, and then all the way back in. Now, the right heel stays on, left knee goes up into our tabletop position. Hold that neutral spine again. We're gonna exhale, push, inhale, bend, exhale out, inhale back again. My sacrum stays heavy, my pelvis stays still. Think about that clay. Your body is lying down in that clay, pushing out, resisting in. We're gonna fatigue those legs. 3, exhale out. Last one, come halfway, pause, try to keep that pelvis still. Little pulses for 8, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way out, all the way back in. All right, Left heel on, right knee up into our tabletop position. Again, pelvis stays still. We're gonna exhale to push, inhale to bend, exhale out, and inhale back. We have 3 more. 2. All right, last one. We come halfway, we pause. We try to keep our pelvis still. Little pulses for 8, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way out, all the way back in. All right, arches of our feet can go onto the foot bar. Both arches stay on to start. We'll exhale again to push out. Inhale back, exhale, lengthen, inhale back. Think everything is engaged as we press out. Legs fire, abs fire. Shoulders stay down. Push, resist. We're gonna go for 3. Last one. Come halfway and pause. Pause for 8. 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way out. And then all the way back in. All right, now the right arch stays on, left knee goes up into our tabletop position. Exhale, push out with the right leg. Inhale back, exhale, push, inhale back. Feel those quads working. Again, we're really gonna fatigue our legs for these. We have 4, 2, last one, hold at that halfway point. Pulse for 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way out, all the way back in. All right, left arch on, right knee tabletop. Again, exhale to push, inhale back. My right knee just stays right at that 90-degree angle the entire time. Pushing out, resisting in, out, resist. We have 4, 2, again on our last one, pause halfway and pulse for 8, 4, 2, 1, all the way out, all the way back in. All right, toes, balls of our feet go onto the foot bar. All 10 toes are on. Little lift of the heels. Make sure you don't collapse into your low backs when you lift your heels. Exhale to push out, inhale back, evenly weighted throughout all 10 toes. Sacrum heavy, pelvis still. Push, resist, push, resist. Let's go for 4, 2, and 1. Come halfway, pause. Little pulses for 8, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way out, all the way back in. Okay, keep the right toes on. They're still lifted. Left knee tabletop. Keep that right heel lifted. Push the carriage out and in. Evenly weighted throughout all 5 toes. Really feel that quad working with that lift of the heel. Exhale away. Inhale back. 4 more. 2. Hopefully your legs shaking like mine. Last one. Ready? Halfway. Keep that little lift. Pulse for 8, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out and in. All right. Left toes, balls of your feet on. Last thing, right knee tabletop. Lift that left heel. Ready? Exhale, push. Inhale back. Exhale, push. Inhale back again. Sacrum heavy, pelvis still. Keep that left heel lifted, evenly weighted throughout all 5 of those toes. No pronation, no supination of that foot. 4 more. 3. Feel that quad. 2. Last one. Ready? Pause at that halfway point. Pulse for 8. Keep that heel lifted. 4, 3. Keep that pelvis still. And then all the way out, all the way back in. Okay, take both toes on. Push your carriage out. Lower the heels. Give yourself a couple of deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. lift the heels up, bend the knees, come all the way back in. Okay, once we come back in, we're gonna sit to the left side of our reformers. We're gonna do a little quad stretch, and then we're gonna finish off with a plank. So one red spring or one heavy spring on your reformer. Right foot is gonna go back to the shoulder block closest to you. Left foot on the floor, both hands on your foot bar. We're gonna press back with our right leg, press back with our left. We're gonna pause again, shooting for stretching out the front of your right leg. So feel free to kind of push your hip down, lift your chest, quad hip flexor. We did a lot of quad work today, a lot of hip flexor work today. Again, we have one more round of planks after our stretches. All right, bring the carriage in. Other side. Left foot back, right foot on the floor, press back, hold. Again, I'm gonna kind of push my left hip down, push my hip forward, and then I'm gonna keep my chest lifted just to get into that hip flexor a little more rather than stretching out my right leg. In through the nose, out through the mouth with that breath. All right, then that carriage is gonna come in. We're gonna go ahead and put our foot bars down one position. So they're gonna go about halfway down, and then you guys are gonna go onto one yellow spring or one light spring. That red one comes off. Again, one more round of planks. We're gonna go ahead, have our hands go onto the foot bar, thumbs with the fingers, step up onto your carriages, start with your toes right at the edge, and then if you guys do want to make it more challenging for this, you can walk your feet a little further back when we get into this. So, thumbs with the fingers, my hands are a little wider than my shoulders. Shift forward, your shoulders are right over your hands. We are going to inhale and just press the legs out. So the shoulders, the arms stay, the legs push the carriage out, and then on your exhale, you can tuck your pelvis, hike your hips, pull back in. Again, if you guys want it a little more challenging, walk a little further back. You can inhale, slowly press your legs out into a plank. Exhale, tuck, pike to come back in. Think draw your abs into your back. Now, heels are up to you. If you guys want to drop them down every time you come in and then let them lift up every time you push out, you can. Otherwise, if you want to keep them lifted the entire time, you can. Now, couple of options. You guys can take off the yellow spring and do your planks with no springs, or you can add in a push-up. Up to you, or you can do both. You can take the yellow spring off, push out, do a push-up, come back up, or you guys can just do pikes, no push-ups. You can always leave the yellow spring on. It's up to you. Push-up is optional. Taking the springs off are optional. Let's go for about 5 more. Think scoop into the abs to lift the hips back up. Inhale out, and then exhale, tuck, hike to come back in. We're gonna go for 2 and 1. Ooh, okay, if you guys took off that spring, add on that yellow again. Hands are on the foot bar, lean just slightly back, pull your foot bar a little bit, stretch out. Let the shoulders kind of get pulled up into the ears. Let your wrists get pulled on the foot bar. All right, shift that weight back forward. You guys can step off to the sides. I hope you enjoyed that abdominal and leg workout today. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You guys can leave me those super thanks. And then as always, every Monday, Wednesday, you guys will get free content every Friday. Will be for members only for $4.99 a month. Thank you guys so much.